Hi everybody, my name is Josh and I'm also known as Artemistyk, formerly known as Thranduard. I'm going to be walking you through some cosplay makeup tips today. Now the look I'm doing today is drag, but it also applies a lot to cosplay. So what's really important to remember with cosplay makeup and makeup in general is that it really helps your look for cosplay and that it can help anybody. So that means if you're presenting male or presenting female, I feel like it's really important for people to make sure they don't forget makeup, especially when they're thinking about photos being taken by a phone. If you're just walking around the con floor, it can be really surprising how different your face can look in a photo without makeup versus with makeup when you see yourself in costume. And not only that, especially for my friends who are out there competing, makeup can really make or break your costume. So even something simple as just putting on foundation and highlighting your features can really help. As you can see, I've already kind of done my contour, I've got my base down. I did a slow-mo feature, so you probably saw that at the beginning. It was really fast, but I'll kind of walk through it really fast. So I covered up my beard, I did color correcting, and what I like to use for that is this. This is the Ben Nye color wheel, and it has this really nice dark maroon color, but it also has like a reddish and an orange tint. Now those can work for a couple of skin tones, but the thing you're doing is you're color correcting the blue. So those red tones, you put those down over the blue. Anywhere you have a beard or any kind of dark hair you want to cover, even on your eyebrows you can put it, and that will cover up any of those dark blue colors. Now what you want to make sure you do is you seal that with a sealer, like for example Urban Decay Mist Spray. This is a makeup sealer that I use before I put my makeup on as a primer and also as a setting spray. But you also can use that to set any like color correcting, and then you always want to powder down. So I put that down as my base. And then I use my favorite foundation for cosplay makeup, which is the KVD Lock-It Foundation. This stuff is heavy. So I use, specifically when I put this on, I use the brush that they sell. This is the foundation brush they sell with KVD Lock-It Foundation, and this is an incredible brush. It does not pick up the foundation, it helps move it around. So a lot of times when you use like sponges, or porous brushes, they'll pick the makeup up as you're putting it on, and that's a problem. You don't want that to happen. You want the makeup to evenly spread across your face and the pigment to completely cover. Especially with cosplay makeup when you're trying to get a full coverage or in drag like I'm doing tonight. You want that makeup to make sure it doesn't splotch or remove, because a lot of times when you use regular sponges, like these latex sponges I use for powder, they can pick up the makeup and take it off your face, and that's not what you want, okay? So this brush is invaluable even, and I would recommend getting one, not just for if you use KVD foundation, but if you use any foundation. I've actually also discovered, if any of you know my Agatha, which is my black and white costume, that one I use this brush for as well. So I apply the MAC Chroma Cake paint for the body using this brush because it gives me such a nice coverage, and again, it doesn't lift. MAC Chroma Cake, for me, I've noticed it tends to lift when I use a sponge once I put the base layer down. This does not do that, it just equally distributes the pigment. So that's what I'm doing. So I put my base down of my color correction, I put my foundation down, which is my KVD. I set that with my setting spray, okay? And then before I put my powder on, I use a liquid white foundation. So this is actually a color mixer. It's meant to lighten your foundation. So I use this in my highlighting areas. So you can kind of see already I have it in my forehead, under my cheeks, in my chin, right above my lip, and of course on my nose. I also did a little bit under where I carved my cheekbones out to kind of make that pop. This KVD, I think it might not be available anymore, but if you can find a pure white pigment of any kind, you can use it the same way and then just blend it in using a wet sponge on your foundation before you powder, okay? Really important. So wherever you're highlighting, you want to use this, or something very light, you know, something a few shades lighter than your normal skin tone or your foundation. And then what I use to contour, which is creating shadows, this is the Fenty Beauty Stick. So this is called Amber. Now the reason I love this is if you can kind of see, it's a very like grayish brown. It's not very warm. And the reason I specifically like to use this for that reason is because shadows are cool, okay? So if you think about what a shadow is, all right, it's the absence of light, which means it's not warm, it's cool. Even if you're like watching as my face turns back and forth, you're not seeing it get brown, you're seeing an absence of light. So for me, this is the perfect contour shade. And you can warm it up if you need to using a powder later on. For me, I rarely do that. If I'm warming my skin up, I'm using my highlight powder to do that. But if you are of a different skin tone, if you have more yellow in your skin or maybe more red in your skin, you can absolutely use a brown with more of those colors in there to kind of go over your contour. I'll talk about that in a second. So I put my color correcting on, I put my foundation on, my highlights, and my contour, and this is all before my powder. What's really important when you're contouring is you want to imagine that there's a source of light right here, right? Like the source of light is hitting the middle of your face, because especially when you are doing drag makeup like I'm doing, you want your face to become smaller, so the light source should be right here. And when you're changing the shape of your face, you can change the way the light hits it by moving that contour around. So if you want your face to be wider, you just bring it out. If you want your face to be narrow, you just bring it in, or longer, however you're trying to make your face look different, to change the shape of your face, use the light to move it around. When you want things to recede, obviously you're using your contour, and that's that shadow I talked about, because shadows make things recede. So you're complementing those areas you want to bring out with the light, with that highlight, and then you're making things go away with the shadow. So of course in drag, we're making the sides of our nose go away, we're making the cheekbones, like carve those in to make the cheekbones look bigger and make the face look smaller. And then you're doing, again, all of that with your wet foundation. You spray it to set it, and then I use my powder. So this is my Ben Nye colorless powder. Now this is luxury, I don't know, it's very fancy. I like this version. You can find the regular no color version, but this luxury one, for me, it's worth a few extra dollars. It's really not that expensive. I want to say this is like $9 to $10 if I remember correctly. This one's great because it is truly colorless, and it's a much finer mill, so I feel like it helps set my makeup a little bit better, and it sets my pores a little bit nicer, so the finish is just really pretty. And I use this to set everything. So when I'm doing my brows, when I'm doing my color correcting, I set everything with this powder, this Ben Nye Colorless Luxury Poudre / powder. Okay, so I've set my powder, okay, my brows are covered, my contour is set. So now I want to walk through some contouring. So I always want to go back, at least for me, if you're going to use contour, it's important that you start with your foundation. So I did that with the liquid, right? Like I did it with the white, I did it with the Fenty Beauty Stick. But then you always want to go back with your powder to kind of enhance that, because it's not always going to be enough. If you can see, like, you're seeing the effect, but we're going to make that more dramatic by using powder. So this is Makeup Forever, and if you notice, it very nicely matches the liquid / stick that I used to contour. So again, if you wanted to warm it up or even cool it down, you could use a different toned brown. For me, I like this one, it's perfect for my skin tone. So I have a contour brush, okay, and you notice it picks it up really nicely. You'll be very careful using a really good brush, because I often like kind of hit it on my hand first to take off the excess, and then you're just gonna go under your cheekbones, and you're just gonna work that in nice and easy. Less is more, right under the cheekbone. See how that kind of just made that look a little bit more dramatic, right? Check it out to the other side. See, not quite as dramatic. So I'm gonna tap it in there again, touch it on my arm, on my hand there, and then just again hit that same spot and make that nice and cut. Just really deepen that shadow, make her look like a woman. Okay, see how that's made my cheeks look a little bit higher, okay? And then also on the temples, again, because I'm making my face smaller, I'm gonna hit those temples, and then also around the forehead, just deepen that shadow with the powder. Just kind of, again, giving the illusion, if you will, that my face is tiny and petite and feminine, which we all know it's not. It's huge and masculine. It's jokes, I got jokes, people. But you can see how it's like making it recede, right? And then we're gonna hit the jawline. We're gonna cover up that manly jaw. Okay, see how that nice and swoop, you're matching the angle of the cheekbone. Same on the other side. I'm gonna hit that. Ooh, a little too much there, but it's okay. Just blend it out. The good news with makeup is that you can always correct your errors most of the time. And that sometimes you might think things look a little dramatic, like right now it looks a little scary and you're like, what is he doing? But it's really not, once everything's on, you'll see how it really comes together. And then I like to hit the side of my nose, just a little bit, again, to kind of make those sides of my nose recede. See how I kind of did that, even just looking at this now? Okay, I think you're good to go. That was a crash course in contouring, okay? So what's really important too is that you also, not only have I enhanced my contour with powder, I'm also going to enhance my highlight with powder. So the thing with powder, colored powder, should be really, really careful. So there is a powder that I like to use normally. It's Besame. It's a lavender powder, and it is really, really stunning for highlights. It does a really great job of making the highlight last so much longer and also look stunning. So right now I'm really kind of yellow in my highlight area, which is fine, and it probably would work for the long term, at least in the camera. Like when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't notice it as much. But this lavender, slightly purple powder is perfect for really making your highlight pop. So I'm just gonna tap a little bit out here. I swear I can get it out. There we go. I'm running low. I have to get some more before Dragon Con. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my trusty latex sponge. I'm gonna pick some up, just dab it in there, and I'm just going to hit the spots I want the highlight to pop. Okay, so I'm just gonna let it ride like that. Just kind of gently pat it. Okay, you don't want to rub, you want to pat. Look at that, it looks so good. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm gonna bring that up onto the height part of my cheekbone. Really want to make that stand out. And you can kind of see how I'm just staying above. I don't want to go any further down. I can do a little bit on the tip of my nose, make that pop out. A little bit down here, under my lips, and then right above as well. So again, focusing specifically on just the front of my face. I don't want to bring it back too far, all right? And then also, you can do a little bit underneath that cheekbone that you carved out to make it pop really nicely. So you probably heard of this term before. It's called baking, and that's what we're doing right now. We're letting the powder bake. When we do that, I am going to take a little tiny bit off of the spot right next to my eyebrows so I can kind of draw those on. Okay, so I have some room there. Ooh, she's looking so good. Okay, so eyebrows. All right, so a lot of people have a lot of ways they can do this. For me, I like to use shadow, so eyeshadow. I prefer, it's got a little control, and not only, by the way, does this help brighten while it bakes, but it also catches all of the stuff that you are going to have fall. So any eyeshadow or any, anything we do up here that might fall down, it's gonna catch in this little spot right here, and then you're gonna wipe it away, and it's perfect, okay? So, eyeshadow. There's a lot of places you can get eyeshadow. I definitely say if you can find a great palette like this is the BH Matte eyeshadow palette. It's huge. It has a lot of colors in it, and again, matte is really important. You don't want shiny, especially if you're using it for like detail work, freckles, things like that, even contouring, or creating creases in eyes. Like, that's not meant to be shiny. You want that to be matte. So it's really important to have a really nice wide variety of matte eyeshadows. Shiny is great, you're gonna use that too, but make sure you have a good solid amount of matte colors. So today I'm gonna be having like a golden brown wig. You're gonna see that at the end. So I'm gonna choose like a lightish brown right here in my palette, and I'm gonna grab my favorite brush, which is my angle brush. Okay, I have like 4 angle brushes. You should know this about me because I love them. They are my absolute favorite. I use them for everything, specifically for eyebrows, okay? So, got my angle brush, you can see it there. It's got the nice little skinny angle, see how skinny it is? This is great for drawing on eyebrows. So I'm gonna get a little closer. You're gonna get really close to my face, so get excited about it. And my glue today is not really behaving, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of go over that with the eyebrow that I'm gonna draw on, and that will kind of cover that up. And we're gonna be like, yes, it's fine. Also, by the way, I did forget to mention, I do have Mark trainer tapes on. They are a facelift technique. So these are them right here, the way that they come, the Mark trainer neck and facelift. You can use these to also change the shape of your face, literally, by putting them in certain places on your face and neck and forehead to kind of lift. As you can see, she's young and beautiful, but I like a little help, so I love using these. So I put them at strategic places right here, and then you can see the string as when I finish, I'll pull that. Look at that, gorgeous, gorgeous. But we'll do that later. We'll do it at the very end. Okay, so going back, I think I'm picking a light brown, okay? So probably start with this light color just to be safe. Always start later, right? It's always important. You can start later. It's hard to make corrections. Again, I always like to touch the powder to my hand just to make sure. All right, here we go. Let's make sure this is the right color. Yeah, this is fine. All right, so we're just gonna kind of go in here and draw. It actually be a little darker, so let's do, actually, you know what? I think I have a different brown that I want to use. Let's do this brown. So this is my e.l.f. Studio palette. I've had this thing forever. I think, actually, you know what? We're going to use Naked. So this Naked Urban Decay palette has a nice matte brown literally called Naked. So I'm gonna, you can see it, it's right there. So I'm gonna use that color. I think it's a little bit darker, so it'll be a little bit better. There we go. All right, so we're coming in here and we're just drawing our eyebrow on. Now, for those that are using your natural brows, first of all, good for you. Second of all, obviously you could skip this step, but I'm literally just kind of taking my eyeshadow and drawing on a brow. And there's a lot of ways you can draw your shape on. I like to do kind of a curve, and then I'll add an angle in if I really feel like I need one. But you're just gonna follow the natural brow bone. So you can kind of see I'm already doing that. I'm just gonna follow, make that tapered effect. Be very careful when you get to the end. You don't want it to be too thick. We're looking good. And I will flesh this out with some highlight and a pen. You'll see what I mean when I get there. Okay, so we kind of got one brow on, looking good. And we're gonna go in for the second one. And they are sisters, not twins. So sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't, but we're gonna do the best we can. Just gonna follow again that natural curve of the brow bone, okay? The side's coming out much nicer. And sometimes that happens, right? Like sometimes our makeup doesn't always match both sides, but we do the best we can with what we've got. Look at that. Oh yes, this is great. I used a new glue. It was the Elmer's School Glue, but it says it sticks to more surfaces. They reformulated it, and it definitely did not act the way I wanted it to tonight, but we are making the best of it. Looks good, looks good. Okay. Beauty about makeup, especially in cosplay and in drag, oftentimes people aren't gonna get up like right in your face. So you can kind of, you know, fudge it, right? Like in pictures, let's make sure we don't get too uneven there. In pictures and things like that, like it's going to look smashing because a lot of times the 30 feet rule, I'll just be careful there. I'm going a little too far down. I think we're okay. Again, we can kind of fix that, but we're just gonna play. Sisters, not twins, sisters, not twins. Again, I was saying like 3 foot rule, right? Like if it looks good 3 feet away or on camera, that is all that matters. Okay, so we kind of got our base down. So I like to kind of leave it there for now. And we will play with that in a little bit, kind of define that brow. So something you can do to do that is you can use a brow pen. So NYX sells this incredible brow pen, and I like to use this to actually draw on individual hairs, but also define the brow. So I'm gonna go in here, put my head down, not trying to put it away, and just swipe some hairs, right? Using that line. It's on the bottom there. Look how that, see how that is nice and sharp? Very delicate hand. We don't want to go too heavy. And I only did it on the bottom, so I'm not gonna go like all the way to the top. I don't want to make it look like bushy. Okay, but this is great for drawing on individual hairs or brows in any situation, not just drag. But I like it because it gives you, again, that kind of precise definition. And again, just kind of going in very gently, taking more to the bottom and working and like wisping it up so you get that nice definition on the bottom there. And then working it out. Looking so good. You almost want to cause like you're almost causing like a gradation effect of the brow. Oh yes. Yes. See how that looks? This one's a little wonky, but we're just gonna go with it. The end result will probably be fine. Again, the finished look always ends up coming together so nicely, so try not to worry about it when you're in the middle of it and you're like, what is happening? Okay, eyeshadow. So we've done our brow, we've kind of shaped the face, and you can make them higher, you can make them lower once you've covered them up. Again, using Elmer's glue, the school glue, which is purple and then dries clear, and then setting that with powder, making sure you dry in between. I have this really handy fan that I got from Amazon. It's battery, well, a USB charger, but right now it's running and it feels fantastic. And this is great for drying, just kind of like having it on next to me. Keeps me cool in case I get like stressed out about my makeup, because that sometimes does happen. Okay, so we are going to talk about real basics things. I'm going to do a really simple eye for you guys today so as not to bore you. And I'm going to use my angled brush. So let me find it. Where did you go, my sweet darling? There you are. Okay, so this is my angled shadow brush, and the basic eye shape that you want to do is you always want to have darkness again in the corners, and you want to go towards the light in the middle. So again, very similar. You're really like contouring the eye. So you're going to find a darker shade, not too dark, right? Because we can always add, and that's really important to remember. And then we're going to accentuate that. So I'm going to go back to my mattes. I'm going to find a lovely color that I want to use. So we're going to do this like, probably start with a darkish brown, something kind of cool. So I'll probably start with this one. This is actually kind of light, but I want to start here. I don't want to, again, build, right? It's really important to build with your eyeshadow. So with my eyes, you can see I have a lot of room, which is really nice for me, but not everybody has that. So you want to make sure that when you're using a brush like this, you use the brush that's appropriate from your face size and for your eye shape size, because all of us are going to have different amounts of space in between. For me, I can start right in the corner and just go in and just work my way right in that crease and just work my way right in. So I'm basically drawing a half moon right on the top. I'm just gonna get some more. And that's the beauty of starting with a lighter color, is that you don't have to worry so much about making a boo-boo. See how it's already kind of doing that for me? I'm just gonna keep going. Again, start your way with a light color first. That is going to be your saving grace. And I'm literally just hitting that eye crease to create, see that shadow there? See how now my lid on this eye looks so much more popped out than this one? Okay, so I'm gonna just go in there a little bit more. And this is very classic 40s, this like kind of brown crease, the smoky, very Marilyn Monroe, which we love. Okay, so I've done one, I'm gonna do the other. Again, kind of letting the shadow of my natural eye crease guide me. Now, not all of us are lucky enough to have that or have that, so it's really important to go in there and build your own if you need to. So we're gonna take a look. Oh yes, we're looking very, very good. And we're going to see how like my eyes are now popping like this area. The lids themselves are like nice and big. You can literally draw in new lids, a new lid shape by doing this with color. Okay, so again, this is very like classic 1940s Marilyn Monroe. I'm gonna hit the bottom a little bit too, just kind of smoke that in underneath. You don't want to forget about the bottom of your eye, but you also want to be careful not to put dark colors under the bottom of your eye too much, unless that's the look you're going for. Remember, dark colors make things recede, so we don't want to make the eye look small, unless that is literally what you're going for. So I should make sure I caveat everything with use your contour and your highlight sparingly, and use them to accentuate or diminish things as you need to. So if you want to make your eyes look smaller, like let's say the person that you're cosplaying has smaller eyes, you can absolutely do that and use eyeliner and eyeshadow to make your eyes seem smaller. Most of the time though, we're trying to make our eyes look bigger, or because especially in like photographs, we want them to pop, okay? So I'm just kind of smoking out that brown, okay? So we've got a nice kind of guiding base, which is stunning. Now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a darker color, which is this dark gray right here. You can't really see it, there we go, that dark gray right there. I'm gonna hit the same corner, but again, very sparingly, and just kind of start carving out. That creates a little bit more with that darker gray. Just blend it. Oh, that looks so good. If I do say so myself. See that? See how that just kind of like made that a little bit darker? Not crazy, not crazy. And kind of bringing it to the center, but keeping the concentration of your shadow towards that outer half of your eye. You don't want it to, you don't want it to put too far, you don't want to put darkness in here, you want it to stay out here, because you want your eye to be this way. That's my goal in this situation. Okay, I'm gonna do the same on the other side, just hitting that gray in there. And again, just really blending it. Oh, she's a pretty, pretty girl. This looks so good, y'all. Hope you're enjoying what I'm doing. So again, see how I've just kind of literally mimicked the shape of my own eye, but just in a dramatic fashion with this shadow. Okay, I'm just making sure they're even. I want to make sure they look nice and pretty. And I'll do a little bit of a darker color here in a second. Look at that. Look at that. She is glamour. She's beauty. Now, it's really important too that we're gonna hit the outside corner with the darkest color possible. Okay, so we've done like a light color over the whole thing. We've done that gray to kind of capture it. Now we're going to take the darkest black, which is the one right here in the corner, right there. And I'm gonna take a little bit of that and I'm just gonna hit just the corner. I'm just gonna pop that in just the outer corner. Just really darken that corner. See that? Look at that. It's kind of smoking it out. Okay. And you can get it a little bit on the lid, that's fine. See how pretty? Look at that. Can I kind of see it coming together? This is again very 40s, but a little bit more dramatic. Okay. We've done that. Okay, so super simple. Now we get to have fun. So what I like to do, especially with cosplay makeup or with drag makeup, is highlight. So Pat McGrath is one of my favorites, and these are very expensive palettes, but they're worth every penny, especially when you're using some of their shimmer. So I like to take some of Pat McGrath's shimmer and I use my finger. So glitter and like metallic eyeshadows, you're gonna wanna use your finger as opposed to a brush. Oftentimes the brush is just gonna not pick up the pigment as well. So you just take your finger and just kind of put it in there and just put it around a little bit, okay? And look, oh, look at that, stunning, right? So I'm gonna pop that right in that center part. Again, right in the middle there of my eyeshadow, of my eyelid, okay? And just kind of pop that in there. Look how pretty, look how pretty. Do the same thing on the other side. Just literally kind of popping that on. Stunning. Look at that, look how nice that looks, right? We love that. Again, not going too far out. We want the shimmer and shine to be on the inside, okay? Now there's a little bit of another trick that you can do. And let me see if I have it. I think we're going to use, oh, I'm not trying to think if I have that palette or not. We can also do, oh wait a minute, here we go. I do have it. So highlighter, okay, and I'm going to take my brush. I'm going to use a different brush than I used before. So it's a nice rounded edge brush. And I'm going to take my highlighter. I'm just going to put it right on the upper corner there where my brow bone is, just to add a little bit of shimmer and shine and kind of capture and pick up that corner. Again, making it kind of stand out. And helping also, you know, disguise any grossness, any like edges of the glue that we didn't like, but I don't really feel like I have that going on, especially on this eye. I'm really proud of this. This one looks better to me than this one. But again, when you look at the whole thing, not as noticeable. Okay, so we've highlighted the inside of our eyes, we've highlighted the outside of our eyes. Now remember, these principles are the same principles we just talked about with the contouring of our face. So we've kind of darkened what we want to darken, and we've highlighted what we wanted to come forward, okay? So we have pretty much our look done for the eye. Now it's everyone's favorite, which is eyeliner. So I'm a liquid liner fan, and I always will use a liquid liner because it's just faster, it's easier for me. I've been doing it for a long time, so find yourself a really good felt tip pen. This is from MAC. This is their 24-hour liner. It's called Brushstroke Black, and we're gonna do a very nice 40s wing, okay? So something decently dramatic, and I'm gonna start again on the inner corner. Some people can start on the outside corner and kind of work their way in. I can't do that. I don't even attempt to. So we're just gonna start in the inner corner. I'm gonna draw. I like to flick it out. So I'm gonna start on the inside corner and just lay my pen against my eyelid and let it do the work for me, and start out with a thin line, okay? Again, starting thin is the key here. You don't want to go crazy on the inside, especially on the inside of your eye. And we're just gonna naturally, get some powder in there. Make it a little bit thicker as we get to the outside corner. See how I did that? It's skinny on the inside, thicker on the outside, okay? And we're gonna start winging it out. Here we go. Bam. Simple wing. Now I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, especially considering I have a dude face. It's important. There we go. That's what I'm liking. Now what I'll also do with this, see how I did the angle very nice and high? You want it to go high. You don't want it to go straight out because you want the eye, in this situation, you want it to go up. This is really important. We want things to go up. And I'll pull this up, like I said, with these trainer tapes. But look how pretty, look how different. See how my shape is already kind of going this direction? This eye is just kind of there, and this eye is going up. I'll also take this pen and just very, very little bit go on the outside corner and connect it up. Just like that. Ooh. Sometimes we make boo-boos, we fix them. There we go. And I'll bring that in just a little bit. I will not bring my liquid liner any further in than about a quarter of the way in. So I'm just gonna fill that one spot in. There we go. Okay, so I'll fill that in with some, excuse me, with some eyeshadow here in a second, but look how pretty. Look at the difference. So I make my eye look bigger, and my eyes kind of get slanted up. So the same thing on the other side. Kind of, again, laying the pen just against my eye and just drawing a line. Just literally letting the pen do the work for you, okay? And then we just let it go out. We don't rush it. And we make it thicker in the middle. That's a nice rule of thumb, by the way, is to start your eyeshadow being thick right when it hits your eyeball, or your iris, I mean. So when you start making it thicker, don't start making it thick like here. Start making it thick like once it hits the color part of your eye. Probably using those terms incorrectly, so forgive me. Okay, and we're gonna try to match our wing, which we sometimes succeed and sometimes we don't. We're gonna bring it up. See if we match the angle. Looks like we did. Oh wow, first time, look at that. Okay. Make it nice and thick. Gonna match it. Easy, gently. Don't overthink it. Look at that, I think we got it. Wow. I'm really impressed with myself, I'm not gonna lie. Again, I'm gonna bring a little bit down to the bottom just to kind of blend it up, but not going much further in than like a quarter of my length of my eye, or width, I should say. Just bringing that up. think she's looking good, y'all. Now I intentionally did this far away from my own mirror so that I'm not like obsessing about the detail. If you all think this looks good, it's good, right? Like it's 3 feet away, that's the rule. Cosplay makeup is very important, drag or cosplay. You're not gonna be like in someone's face most of the time. So it's important to remember that. So don't obsess too much over like small details, which is why I did this kind of so far away from my mirror. My mirror is like about a foot past this camera. I can often sometimes like get myself right up in the mirror and like really get in the details, which is good. But again, it can be very helpful to do it far away so that you're just like, oh, it looks good. Everybody else is gonna think it looks good. That's like a really good thing to remember, everybody, is that I promise you, as bad as you think your makeup looks or your look looks, people are gonna love it. So have some confidence in yourself. And if somebody gives you a compliment on your makeup or anything, accept the compliment. Don't immediately point out, well, I should have done this. No, I promise you that person would not give you that compliment if they didn't mean it. At least I hope so anyways. If you're one of those people, well, you know where you can go. All right, so I think our liner, just fixing this one little spot, and hopefully not gonna mess this up. I don't think I did. Look at that, pretty even, guys. Folks, look at that. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, that's a classic, simple 40s line, okay? And I might, just because I'm feeling gutsy, I might thicken up those corners just a little bit. Because she's a dramatic woman. Here we go. Okay, so there we go. Eyeliner is done. Now, what's really important, especially considering those corners I told you about where I brought that liquid liner in, we want to blend. It's really, really important. So I'm gonna grab, again, an angled brush, my favorite, okay? So I get one of my angled brushes. Here's one. It's like I said, I have 4 of these. And I'm gonna find my black. So I'm gonna use this one. This is my trusty go-to black. It's my e.l.f. shadow palette, and it's got a black on the end that I just love to use. I've used it for so much. I'm gonna pick up a little bit with my angled brush, and I'm just going to kind of keep the line going that I created, but not going past my color of my eye, okay? So don't go too far in. See how I've kind of only gone, just kind of encapsulating the eye a little bit by blending that out. See the difference between this side and this side? So same on this side. I'm gonna pick up some of that black shadow and just again blend it in to the center of my eye underneath. But not going too far. I don't want my eyes to be smaller in this situation. I want them to be nice and big. This is like drag 40s makeup, but this works in a lot of cases because, again, you don't want your eyes to be big. Like 40s makeup was very simple, very straightforward. It was big lines, you know, broad liner on the eyes. See how nice that looks, right? Like we don't want to color anything on the inside. What we can do is we can take a little bit of highlighter with our finger and just touch the inside of that spot right there. So I took a little bit of that different kind of cooler gold on the bottom and I put my finger in there and I'm just hitting the inner corner of my eye. Again, the light goes in the middle, right? It just goes right there in the center. It's super subtle. You probably can't even see it, but okay. Liner's done. So now we put our mascara. Now, depending on your cosplay or your look, mascara might be as far as you go. We're gonna go a little bit further today, but I'm just gonna do a nice coat of mascara. Now guys, my male presenting peoples, please know that when you are in costume, and it is a male presenting costume, it's really important to at least have on some kind of foundation. Now, real quick while I'm telling you this, just notice how I'm not on the bottom, I'm just kind of like shaking it back and forth, kind of like touching it to those lower eyelashes and just kind of like letting it grab on. And look at the difference. Look at that versus that. Crazy, right? Just let it kind of grab on and then like wiggle it out. You don't want to try to brush it on because you might push down too far and then get mascara on your makeup, which you don't want. Look at that. Look at the difference. Love it. Okay, so anyways, as I was saying, my male presenting cosplayers, put on some foundation, find a foundation that matches your color, okay, and then put on some mascara at the very least. like brighten up your eyes. You'll be amazed at the difference that it makes it look in your photos. And also just in general, it helps your eyes kind of pop. When you're wearing an elaborate costume, or even, you know, not even necessarily elaborate costume, but a costume in general, you want to make sure you're highlighting your features. Like, it's important to do that. No matter if you're doing something dramatic like I'm doing and really changing your face, but also simple costumes look better when you are kind of like a full picture. And that full picture is makeup. So even if it's just, again, a little foundation, a little mascara, don't be scared of mascara, it's okay, I promise. It can really like make your look complete. Okay, so we have our mascara on. So like I said, you can stop there. As you can see, it's beautiful, right? I'm gonna go ahead and brush off my highlight powder. Just this is a very soft brush, so I have to go a little bit more aggressive. Just be careful, you don't whip up too much. And then again, right underneath, just take off that spot. See how it removed all the stuff that fell? Same situation, just flick it out of there. Ta-da! I can really understand what I'm saying as I do this. All right, well, she is looking good, y'all. Just gonna blend it out. Okay, love everything that's happening. All right, so for our almost final, we're almost there. We're gonna just do eyelashes. We have eyelashes, cheek, and lip. We're almost there, y'all. And you'll see the finished look. Fake lashes. So a lot of people are scared of fake lashes. Don't be. They are really easy to put on once you get the hang of them. And I know that's like, sounds kind of silly when I say that, like once you get the hang of it. I'm doing a simple lash tonight. So I just using these wispy lashes, okay? They'll be more than enough to get the point across. So I grab them with my tweezers. I will pick them up with my finger and then I'll grab them with the middle of my tweezers. Lash glue. So lash glue, usually I just use Ardell, which is the lash glue that looks like this, the Duo Ardell, and I'll just kind of put a little bit, actually, well, I'm doing it in that hand, in this hand. Put it on my hand, getting my hand. I don't do this on camera very often, y'all. Get a little nice on there, okay? And then the trick is to grab it and kind of like run your lash line through the glue. It's very messy on your hand, but again, you just grab a makeup wipe at the end of all this and just kind of evenly coat, especially the corners. Really important to get the corners of your lash with that glue, okay? The thing I do, I blow on it, okay? You just wanna get the lash glue nice and sticky. Make sure you're holding onto that really tight, although it'll blow right out of your hands. Okay, blowing on it. Okay, and then this is tough to show on camera, but I'll do my best. I'm gonna lay this down on my eyelash, like on my, close my eye and lay it down like flat, like kind of put it against my lashes and then shape it to my lash line. So I'm gonna try to do that on camera. If I'm successful, great. If not, hopefully you get the gist of what I'm doing. So I'm closing my eye and just like pushing it up against my natural lash line. Again, trying to stay not too far out. Oop, look at that. See, even the best of us make mistakes. Sometimes you just have to do it with your fingers. Just kind of touching the corners in there, make sure they're nice and sturdy. There we go. Not a super dramatic lash, but again, this is a 1940s kind of pin-up look. I would normally do a much bigger lash in a situation where I wanted to have a much more dramatic look, but I think this gets the point across. You can see how lovely that looks. We love it. Make sure we push it up a little bit so it opens up the eye, doesn't close in the eye. And what you can always do too is once you put it on, you can take your mascara and just kind of do a little bit like that. Kind of go to the bottom of your lash and like brush it up so it kind of blends it in a little bit better. Look at that. Okay, one done, one to go. Again, looks good from far away. It may not be on there the best right now, but that's okay. I'm gonna pick up my other lash with my tweezers. Try this again. And again, I'm gonna just run that lash line for the lash through that glue. against my hand. Sorry, I'm not showing you a very good picture of it. Again, the corners are important. The corners are the hardest part, so make sure you put it in the corners and get the glue on the corners, okay? So, glue's on the lash, get tacky. Try to put it on too soon, it will not do anything. So make sure you do a nice little thing, like kind of like wave it around, let it blow. She's looking pretty, y'all, not gonna lie. Okay, putting on our lash. Again, just kind of laying it. This is how I normally like to do it, just lay it down. It's much easier with my right eye than it is in my left. Now the glue is white, but it'll dry clear. I think we got it the first time. Usually your dominant eye is easier to do. Look at that. Subtle but pretty, right? Like a nice 1940s simple eye. So pretty. Okay, and again, I'm gonna just touch it up with my mascara and just again, open it up. Make sure it looks good. Want the eyelash to open. We don't want it to close. We don't want it to, we can do, if we're doing like a sexy smolder, we can like kind of put the eyelash down, but that's not what we're going for. We're going for a nice, pretty eye. Okay. I think we're almost done. Okay, so we've wiped off our contour powder and our highlight powder, and now it's time for blush. So I'm using Sailor Moon. I love this freaking freaking blush. So your blush brush is gonna look a little differently. It's gonna be brush shaped like this, and I put a bright pink because I love this. And this is a nice warm up color. So I'm just gonna again tap it in there a little bit. Again, be careful. And I'm gonna focus on keeping the color above my cut crease that I put on there, and I'm just gonna on there, warm myself up, give myself a little bit of color above that cut crease. Look at that, so pretty. Okay. And again, you just gotta be careful with your application. You don't want to go too crazy. Just warm up. Just again, depending on the look you're going for. 40s looks weren't super heavy on blush, so we don't want to go crazy. And then sometimes I'll do a little swipe on the nose, a swipe on the chin, but I think that is more than enough for now. Look how glamorous, y'all. So pretty, just that lovely pink. Thanks, Sailor Moon. We love you. Okay, we are almost there. We are about to cross the finish line. Are you excited? So lips. What I forgot to mention is with when you're putting on your foundation, especially when you're doing a full coverage foundation, make sure that you don't put the foundation on the inside of your lips. If you noticed in the slow-mo video, hopefully you got a chance to see it. If not, I wiped out the inside of my lips so that the foundation is not in there. You don't want that. You don't want the outside of your, or the inside of your lip to have foundation, because it will get all crackly and like gunky. So it's really important that we don't do that. Okay, so the lip we're gonna do is a new pink that I found. It's actually for a look I'm doing later in August, so I'm gonna try it out tonight, so we're gonna have some fun. So always, 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 always do a lip pencil. Whether you're doing a nude lip, a dramatic lip, any lip, a colored lip of some kind, use a lip pencil. I'm using a lip pencil that is kind of a neutral. It's very like kind of salmon-y. And that will be a good base. And this is how you can draw on different lip shapes. So in cosplay, if we're cosplaying a specific person or character, our lips actually will help transform. As you can see, like, it's almost there, but when I put the lip on, you're gonna be like, wow. So when I do like Kate Blanchett or you know, any other character, I draw on the lip. I really pay attention to the mouth shape, so you can change the shape of your mouth, and that's really gonna change your entire look. So please make sure that when you are using your lip pencil, that's your base, and that'll also help you fill in your color. So tonight we're just gonna do a generic kind of overdrawn lip, not too crazy. Again, try 1940s. And the way you do that is you're gonna create a Cupid's bow, and then you wanna go right above the lip line and then taper it back down into the corner. So again, dramatic over the Cupid's bow just a little bit, taper it down to the corner, and then we're gonna fill it in. So let me get started. Can't really talk, so this might be a little bit boring. See how I did that? Just over a little bit. It's important to open your mouth and kind of hold it open, so because a lot of us who are more mature have wrinkles on our lips naturally, so we want to spread those out so that it doesn't like cause a bump or anything. Same thing on the other side. Just over, a little over, and then down, right outside the lip line. And then taper it into the corner of your mouth, okay? See that? Okay. The bottom one's a little tricky. Don't be scared. But same situation. You're gonna start on the inside of the corner of your mouth and then draw down underneath your lip just a little bit, okay? Just to make the lip a little bit bigger. So I'm starting literally on the inside corner. And I drew that line right under my lip, okay? And then I'm gonna do the other side. So I don't wanna go all the way across because I could cause a problem. I'm gonna do this side halfway through and then the other side. Okay, and then just gonna fill that. See, I kind of has a little wind this time. I'm gonna fill that out. I think this shape is good. Yep, and then we're just gonna so the way I look at this, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm just gonna fill on the top. I might wanna make the bottom lip a little bit bigger. I feel like it's uneven. Yeah, I'm gonna make the bottom lip, I'm gonna bring out the bottom lip just a little bit. There we go, that's better. Look at that, she's beautiful, you guys. Okay, so I fill in, press together. Now, you can use lip liner. This could be your final look, depending on the color of your lip liner. Excuse me, so feminine. But you could use an eyeshadow. You could totally fill in a lip liner and then take eyeshadow over this if you want something that's gonna last a long time. I'm using a traditional liquid lip tonight, but liquid lips specifically are made to last longer. So sometimes they're actually a better option, specifically for me. And then if you're wearing a wig that's like long, you don't want it to get stuck in lipstick. So I can't help looking at myself, I'm so pretty. You don't wanna use something that's sticky. So I like liquid lipstick because they dry matte. But again, you can use eyeshadow on your lips. Don't be scared of doing that. Just draw the lip shape in like I did, and then fill it in with eyeshadow. So I think we're good. All right, so then I'm gonna take my liquid lip, and this is the brand new color that I got, so I'm really excited about it. It's a little shimmery. It's from MAC, and it's just so pretty. It's one of their matte lip colors, but it's matte, but it has shimmer. It's like, what the heck? And then like candy. This is pretty. I'm just going right to that lip line that I created and filling in the color. And then dabbing them together. Look how pretty. Oh, y'all, that's gorgeous. Oh, making problems. That's so nice. Then I dabbed, I'm just gonna fill in the bottom. Look how pretty that is. I live. Feminine, delicate. Okay, so that is the look. Just filling in all that. Now, this could be a traditional red look, specifically for 1940s, but again, I'm just using this because I want to try it out and see what it looked like. I'm pretty happy. Nice. Got a little thing happening on the corner there. Just gonna see how I kind of go in when I make a mistake and just flick it inwards. Make sure you have a clean finger when you do that. Sometimes when you're correcting an issue, sometimes you make it worse if you don't have a clean finger. So you're gonna flick off. Like if you go outside the line with your liquid lipstick or lipstick in general, you can, it's like a small going out, you can take your finger and kind of like flick it inward and take that off. But again, make sure your finger's clean, there's no other makeup on it, because I tend to use my hands, as you can see, to test out makeup before I put it on. All right, I think, let's see how now it's drying, even though it's still shimmery. Okay. So we are done, y'all. We have put on our 1940s look, very simple but effective. And now we're going to lift the face. So again, these Mark Twainer lifts have these holes here in the back, and there's a hook and eye. And again, they're stuck to my face to lift. So I'm taking that last spot on the back one, and I'm just pulling it up and connecting them and putting it through. And then bringing it up. Oh yes, she is taut. She is taut and young and gorgeous. And I'm going to be right back. I'm going to put on the wig. In fact, I'm gonna stay right here because I brought it in here so we can stay for the wig. And I'm going to make sure I wipe off my hand before I do anything else. So make sure you wipe your hand off, because again, like me, I use makeup on my hand as a palette. Okay. Gonna wipe off our hands, make sure we're getting our makeup on our wigs. It's very important. Oh, I almost forgot. I'll put earrings on, but maybe not, because the ones I brought I think are going to be too hard to put on. So this wig is what I used for 1940s look last time, so I'm just gonna put this on. Haha. Now she is officially a woman. Look at that, y'all. Who is she? She's glamour, she's beauty. Oh, make sure you don't get the wig bands showing. That's not a cute look for anybody. Feeling like Meryl Streep a little bit. Kind of like Death Becomes Her. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. But look at that. Look how effective, right? So we have gone through kind of like all of the really important parts of makeup. We've talked about contouring. We've talked about kind of color correcting. We've talked about highlighting. We've talked about how to change the look of your face by using all of those things. I've gone through fake eyelashes. Hopefully you've learned something today. And again, these principles are universal. They don't necessarily have to apply to drag makeup. They can apply to any character makeup that you are going to be doing for your cosplay. So feel free to think through like the things. Oh, my cats are having an argument. But as you can see, totally different person now. especially with the wig on. The wig really kind of helps the look good. I'm very pleased. I hope you are too. Thank you for joining me. Again, my name is Josh, aka Artemistyk, formerly known as Thranduart. I have gone through rebranding. Please follow me on all my social channels. They will be Artemistyk, that's ARTEMISTYCK, okay? So those will be all my new social channels. I hope you're having a great Dragon Con. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed, and have a great night. Bye, everybody.